Jai Sriman Narayana. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagadguru Sudarshan Acharyaji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. And I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayana. I welcome all of you to the Sri Narayan Dham, physically here in Durban, South Africa. I welcome all of you that's watching this discourse on live feed locally, nationally and internationally. And I welcome those of you that's going to be watching this discourse subsequently when it's posted in the various groups from around the world. Today's topic, Vishishtadvaita, is Absolute Vedanta, Part 2. In order to explain and for you to get an understanding, I'm going to explain as follows. In every facet of life where you need to learn higher learning, you go to an institute of higher learning called universities. In these universities, there are professors that have specialized in teaching specific subjects. If you want to learn law, you will register at the Faculty of Law. If you want to learn medicine, you will register at the Faculty of Medicine. Registration means that you sign a contract in that department that you will abide by all the instructions of that faculty. Similarly, when you want to now learn spirituality, then you have to find a spiritual university that is headed by a spiritual professor. And these spiritual professors are called spiritual masters or gurus. These spiritual masters or gurus have been trained by the supreme spiritual master, Lord Sriman Narayana himself, over many, many lifetimes. And they descend on this earth after undergoing training under the original supreme spiritual master, Lord Sriman Narayana. And these professors, they are trained to give you all the information that's required in the metaphysical world. Metaphysical world is the world that exists outside this material world. So they are trained and they are qualified in giving you transcendental knowledge from the spiritual world. And it is this knowledge that the Sri Narayan Dham is attempting to spread both here with the local devotees and internationally, and hoping to reach every corner of this globe. I've stated earlier that due to the different desires of men or mankind, there are different philosophies that exist. And I've also stated in the preceding satsang that in order to teach the absolute truth, all the relative truths fall away. And in lieu of this, it's going to be a journey of the Sri Narayan Dham to teach Vedanta in its absolute form. And whilst teaching Vedanta, in its absolute form, there is going to be some upheaval in the world wherein man has got accustomed to systems that they've got adapted to. And coming back to those of you that are locally with me in this satsang, this is a very difficult route because many of us come having information from tradition, from custom, and from spiritual masters. So we have to test all the information that we have as with the information that comes from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Stini? In doing so, it will become a process which you will have to adapt. Like when you attended primary school, traditionally the mothers taught the children A, Ba, Ka. Vasudeva is very happy. He has fond memories of his mother teaching him A, Ba, Ka whilst he was eating mud. And one of the characteristics of Lord Sri Krishna Vasudeva whilst he was in Joburg is Lord Sri Krishna himself ate mud. And when somebody calls you the blue Krishna, we can understand why. Alright? So all of you remember A, Ba, Ka, 1 plus 1, 2. You all remember? 1 clock, 2 clock, 3 clock. You all remember? Learning from your parents. Tivashni, you're smiling. I'm going to meet you after satsang. Alright? A, Ba, Ka. Then when you went to primary school, the teacher threw out the A, Ba, Ka and said A, B, C. So you lost your tradition, you lost your custom, and you adapted now to a institution and you followed their rules and regulations. Didn't you? How many of you insisted we'll carry on saying A, Ba, Ka? Nobody. Because you adapted from a primitive system into a current system, and this current system was for your elevation only. So similarly, many of you come from traditions and from customs, and when you come to the satsang, then it becomes a bit difficult for the Guru to teach you and a bit difficult for you to understand the Guru, because what you have been doing and what we are asking you to do is sensitive. It is sensitive. So I am not placing any demands on any particular individual. I am just going to teach you what the scriptures teach. You don't have to leave everything that you are doing and join the scriptures immediately. But if you have bought in to the discourses, if you have bought in to this information, then in time, through a process, you will have to evolve and come into the system. The time frame is dependent upon you, because different people are born with different merits. Those that have been closer to this system in the last life will take on quickly to the system in this life. And those of you that were further to the system in your last life will take a while to take to this system. But the fact that you are here is what counts. The fact that you are here is what counts. So you can take your time and you can ease into the system. Whilst you are easing into the system, you have to obey all the rules and regulations whilst you are at this satsang, because this satsang is a right of admission and it has its own rules, own regulations and own protocols. All of you understand? Then there are two types of people that attend satsang, and I shared a post, I think yesterday, and I'm just going to explain. There was a Brahmin that was given a discourse on the Srimad Bhagavatam to a landlord. And whilst he was given this discourse, a rogue came to, what rogues do, Vasudeva? Steal. And when he entered and he heard the Brahmin speaking, he got interested in the story because the Brahmin was describing what Lord Sri Krishna wears, what ornaments he is adorned with. Okay? So for a rogue, if you hear gold bracelets, gold chains, it will attract your attention. And the Brahmin was the rogue was very interested. He gave this discourse his 100%. He gave this discourse his 100%, and he believed every word that the Brahmin was reciting from the Srimad Bhagavatam. And when this discourse was over, the rogue caught the Brahmin in a secluded place and he asked him the description of the place where you could find these two boys, Krishna and Balaram. And the Brahmin, in his fear, he told them where he could find these two entities. And so the rogue took the direction and he went and he found Krishna and Balaram. And as soon as he saw the Lord, all his karmas were burnt to ashes and his original love was reignited in his heart for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Lord Sri Krishna asked him his real reason for coming to him, and the rogue, now turned pure devotee, did not want to execute the real reason that he came there. The real reason he wanted to rob Lord Sri Krishna of his jewelry. Alright? However, on his way back, Lord Sri Krishna gave him all the jewelry in his knapsack. And this rogue went to the Brahmin and he told the Brahmin what had happened. And when the rogue opened the knapsack, all the jewelry as it has been described in the Srimad Bhagavatam was found in his knapsack. So the Brahmin was very perturbed because all his life he's been teaching the Srimad Bhagavatam, and here comes a rogue. Here comes a rogue, a thief. And the thief gets all the jewelry that's adorned by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the Brahmin goes to this place and confronts Lord Sri Krishna with this issue. Don't you think he has a right to confront Lord Sri Krishna with this issue? Dana? You don't have a right? Why?
You can't question God.
No, you can. Who said you can't question? All your life you've been questioning God, that's why you're here. Aren't you? Okay. So he asked Lord Sri Krishna, I've been a great servant of yours, I've been reading the Srimad Bhagavatam all my life to so many people, and here comes a rogue, and you gave the rogue a bag full of your jewelry. Why did you do that? And Lord Sri Krishna said, you've just been reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. The rogue really believed in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So I give discourses here all the time. I give discourses here all the time for the past 6 years. Those of you just listen to the discourse, you get nothing. And those of you that believe in the discourse, your entire world open up. And one of the cases is Rishabhai. He came here not to steal, he came to do my floss. He came here to do my floss. But I told him that if he believes in the discourses, his life will change. And he really believed from day one. He truly believed that his life will change. And his life changed on day one. Not day 2, day 3, day 5, day 100. On day 1 he went home and he told his wife, my life will change. So he didn't only hear the discourse, he truly believed in it. And the only time your life will change when you truly believe in it. This is a real story. This is not a story. The example I gave you with Lord Sri Krishna is not a story. It really happened. Similarly, if you sit here and put my discourse through one ear and take it out of the other ear, it will have no impact. But if you believe what the Acharya is reading and saying and practice it, then it will change you with immediate effect, because that's the value of the discourses. And in lieu of this, I'm going to now corroborate with evidence of Lord Sriman Narayana himself when he incarnated as Lord Sri Krishna. So I'm going to run this series. I'm going to explain Vedanta, and I'm going to bring in a whole, I'm also going to give you stories like this, because many of you like stories. So I'm going to mix stories, philosophies and Vedic injunction. And in the end, you're going to have a well-balanced package. You'll have a well-balanced package for you to easily understand Sanatana Dharma. Have you seen or experienced computer games? Which is a favorite game that everyone knows? Do ask me. What game you play on the internet when you bluff people, you do researching for projects when nobody watching? Do ask me. Huh? Hard game. Card games. Okay, she plays cards. And then she complains that she has no time to complete her homework. She has no time to go for tuition. She has no time to come to satsang. But she has time to visit her auntie in Durban North. And she has time to play card. So for Tiveshni, school work she wants Lord Narayan to create outside the 24 hours a day. So when the 24 hours is finished, then Lord Narayan must create 2 hours for homework, 2 hours for a tuition, because in that 24 hours it all belongs to Tiveshni. Alright? So she comes to satsang hoping that Lord Narayan will extend that time and give her school time separate from the 24 hours a day. Alright? Because this weekend Tiveshni has no time. And the first time she wants to cancel off is satsang time. She wants to cancel Thursday satsang and Sunday satsang so she can try and manage her schoolwork. Alright, Tiveshni, you think that will happen? So when the cat was away, the mouse began to play. Right? Father was in Joburg and Tiveshni was full of tricks. Full of tricks. Tiveshni is the only devotee that goes live around the world in my discourses. So when you come to satsang, you form a relationship between your guru and yourself. I was talking about these games. Have you all seen these computerized games? Each game has a limit. Each game has a limit. That limit is synonymous with your destiny. Your life, every aspect of your life is limited as per your destiny, like a computer game created. It has to stop at a certain stage, at a certain level. It cannot play on its own because it is created as per its own destiny. And your life is created as per your destiny. Do you understand? When you play these games, it can only go up to 5 levels. It stops at level 5, I'm giving you an example. And your life of happiness and sadness has its levels already preordained in. When you come to satsang, and when you start a relationship with your guru, then the game changes. The game changes. It can go up to a new dimension and it can become a new game. And this is why you come to satsang. You come to satsang to change the game of your life. You come to satsang, bona fide satsang, by a bona fide guru to change the game of your life. And by changing the game of your life, it means your destiny no longer impels you. Your destiny no longer impels you. You cannot come to 1 or 2 satsang and get the game changed. Getting the game changed is a continuous relationship with your guru and yourself. Your guru and yourself. So you have to be continuously involved with your guru for the game to be continuously changed. All of you understand? Or you go back to your original destiny, which is what was computed before you took birth into this body. So we have to understand all of these different aspects. But everything is a process. Everything is a process. And everyone will succeed in their own time. But you must make the effort because I'm giving you the tools. In every satsang, I give you these tools. You have to take the tools and make the effort. The Guru's job is only to give you the tools. So I give you enough tools every week. These tools are not you turn the spanner once and the spanner breaks. These are Gadot tools. These are, it got lifetime warranty. Lifetime warranty. And if you use these tools that I give you, you must fix yourself up one day. If the head bolt is size 19, don't use a 21 spanner. Use a 19 spanner. If you're using a 21, don't blame me. I gave you the whole toolbox. Whole toolbox, Dana. So find the right spanner and fix yourself up. The Vaishnavi got so many toolboxes. She's got one toolbox for school, one toolbox at home, one toolbox is here at satsang too. I don't think I gave anyone more toolboxes than the Vaishnavi, and she still tries to find one or two spanners wrong. Okay, so I'm going to read a few verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam, and I want to lead up. I want all of you to understand that the Guru is not just sitting here and talking away. These discourses that the Guru gives is the breath of Lord Sriman Narayana. It is infinite. The Guru just catches that which he can assimilate and he gives it to you as per your requirement. Okay? But these discourses are not sitting somewhere in the Guru's head. It comes from a proper structure. These discourses come from an absolute structure from Lord Sriman Narayana himself. So I want to start off with understanding the Guru first. When you understand the Guru, then it will be easy for you to understand his teachings. And this is Lord Sri Krishna speaking in Canto 11, Chapter 3. Text 21. And he says, and I quote, "Therefore any person who seriously desires real happiness must seek a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation. The qualification of the bona fide Guru is that he has realized the conclusions of the scriptures by deliberation and is able to convince others of these conclusions. Such great personalities who have taken shelter of the Supreme Godhead, leaving aside all material considerations, should be understood to be bona fide spiritual masters." Now this is the quality of a Guru. When you find a Guru, you must see that the Guru has detached himself from material activities. That means his main focus in life is not materialism but spiritualism. You must investigate and see whether he has concluded the instructions of the Vedas through understanding the Vedas himself. How would you know that? How would you know that? By questioning him, and I'm saying, in this current state, what's the date today? First of September, we have technology at our fingertips. So when a guru gives a discourse, you take the key words of the discourse and you type it on Google, and Google won't give you exactly what the guru gave you, but more or less you can understand within the parameters that the guru has concluded the scriptures by deliberation. Has concluded the scriptures by deliberation. What does deliberation mean? Through understanding the scriptures fully. Next verse. Text 22, Canto 11, Chapter 3. Accepting the bona fide spiritual master as one's life and soul and worshipable deity, the disciple should learn from him the process of pure devotional service. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, the soul of all souls, is inclined to give himself to his pure devotees. Therefore, the disciple should learn from the spiritual master to serve the Lord without duplicity and in such a faithful and favorable way that the Supreme Lord, being satisfied, will offer himself to the faithful disciple. Okay? And you must understand this, that as the Supreme Personality of Godhead has made himself available to the Guru, similarly through your faith in the Guru, the Supreme Personality of Godhead will make himself available to you. All of you understand? And this is how, and this is why satsang is important. By attending satsang of a bona fide system and a bona fide spiritual master. Because you're getting the supreme. You are getting the highest benefit. Any other benefit is temporary. But when you get God, is God temporary? And if you get God himself, what is the use of getting any other thing? Because everything is contained in God. You understand? Okay? So I've set up the background that in order to understand spirituality, you need to have a living entity that is well versed in spirituality himself, and that person is called a bona fide guru or spiritual master. When you have found this spiritual master, then you strike a relationship and you submit to the spiritual master and his teachings. And when you submit to the spiritual master and his teachings, he will deliver the Supreme Personality of Godhead to you. Then I stated that there are many systems that's created in this world, and we need to, the first thing your spiritual master need to do is teach you the correct system. Because if you go in the wrong system, you will not get God delivered to you. If you go in the wrong system, you will not get God delivered to you. Who will explain to you? How would you know if you are in the right system? How would you know what is right and what is wrong? And how would you know whether you're in the right system? Who must tell you this? Who? Who? Gurus can create many systems. Who must tell you you're in the right system? God. Who? God. So the Guru must quote what God is proclaiming to be the right system. Then you know you are in the right system. When a Guru just sits and gives his own instructions without corroborating with the scriptures, then that must be not accepted. You must only accept a Guru's teachings if he references it and cross-references it with the instructions of God Himself. So Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th Canto, Part 2, Text 3. Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th Canto, Part 2, Text 3. And this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sriman Narayana, speaking in his incarnation as Lord Sri Krishna. And he is stating, and I quote, "By the influence of time, the transcendental sound of Vedic knowledge was lost at the time of annihilation. Therefore, when the subsequent creation took place, I spoke Vedic knowledge to Brahma because I myself am the religious principle enunciated in the Vedas." So Lord Sri Krishna is saying that He is the essence of Vedas Himself, and when creation took place, He Himself gave this Vedic knowledge to Lord Brahma. And he further states in text 4, Lord Brahma spoke this Vedic knowledge to his eldest son, Manu, and the 7 great sages headed by Bhrigu Muni then accepted the same knowledge from Manu. So Lord Brahma spoke this knowledge to his eldest son, who spoke this knowledge to the 7 sages. You can see how knowledge comes down. God gives the knowledge in its total form to Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma gives it to his son gives it to the sages. From the text 5 to 7. From the forefathers headed by Bhrigu Muni and the other sons of Brahma appeared many children and descendants who assumed different forms as demigods, demons, human beings, Goyakas, Siddhas, Gandharvas, Vidyaharas, Karanas, Kindevas, Kinneras, Nagas, Kinpurusas, and so on. All of the many universal species, along with their respective leaders, appeared with different natures and desires, generated from the three modes of material nature. Therefore, because of the different characteristics of the living entities within the universe, there are great many Vedic rituals, mantras, and rewards. You all understand? So, as creation took place, demons were born, demigods were born, and all species of life took the birth. And because the Vedas is a manual for life, for all species, the Vedas accommodated the desires of the different types of living entities. And because of the different type of living entities, we have so many rituals, so many mantras, and so many ways of worship. You understand? Does it make sense? Does it make sense? This is Lord Shri Krishna now giving an explanation why there are so many types of rituals, so many types of mantras, and so many types of worship. And he continues in text 8, thus, due to the great variety of desires and natures among human beings, there are many different theistic philosophies of life which are handed down through tradition, custom, and disciplic succession. There are other teachers who directly support atheistic viewpoint. Theistic means teaching you about God. Atheistic means teaching you against God. Alright? Atheism means there is no God. So many teachers have taken their birth on this earth, and some teach you about various types of teachings in terms of God, and others teach you that there is no God. Who is stating this? Lord Shri Krishna himself. Text 10. Some say that people will be happy by performing pious religious activities. Others say that happiness is attained through fame, sense gratification, truthfulness, self-control, peace, self-interest, political influence, opulence, renunciation, consumption, sacrifice, penance, charity, vows, regulated duties, or strict disciplinary regulations. Each process has its proponents, and you can see our Hinduism today, can't you? Everywhere in Hinduism, people are doing various different things, isn't? As Lord Shri Krishna is describing here, in Hinduism, people are doing hundreds of different types of things, thinking they can achieve happiness by doing them in that form, because that's what came down from tradition and custom. And then he says in text 11, all the persons I have just mentioned obtain temporary fruits from the material work. Indeed, the meager and miserable situations they achieve bring future unhappiness and are based on ignorance. Even while enjoying the fruits of the work, such persons are filled with lamentation. Okay, so Lord Shri Krishna is qualifying now. He said all those people that's involved in doing all those types of worship only get limited benefits, and even in the limited benefits they get, they are still lamenting. What does lamenting mean? What does lamenting mean?
Worrying.
They feel miserable. They are still lamenting. This is what, who is saying this? Lord Sriman Narayan in his incarnation as Lord Sri Krishna himself, and not the Guru. Alright? And this is what he is saying. And this is the solution. He is saying, O learned Uddhava, those who fix their consciousness on me, giving up all material desires, share with me a happiness that cannot possibly be experienced by those engaged in sense gratification. I'm going to read this again. Now Lord Sriman Narayan is saying, those who fix their consciousness on me, giving up all material desires, share with me a happiness that cannot possibly be experienced by those engaged in sense gratification. So Lord Narayan is saying now that all those types of worships, rituals that he mentioned, he said, if somebody from there focus their consciousness on him alone, that happiness derived from him will surpass all the happiness in the performance of all those other ritualistic and modes of worship. Then he says, my dear Uddhava, neither Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Sankarsana, the goddess of fortune, nor indeed my own self are as dear to me as you are. And in the next verse, text 16, and I promised you last week that I'm going to read this when I find it, and it found itself in the sequence of what I am reading, and I want you to listen very, very carefully. Lord Narayan says, with the dust of my devotees' lotus feet, I desire to purify the material worlds which are situated within me. Thus, I always follow the footsteps of my pure devotees who are free from all personal desire, wrapped in thought of my pastimes, peaceful, without any feelings of enmity and of equal disposition everywhere. Okay? And I want to read this verse again in terms of Vedanta and Vishishtadvaita. Alright, so I'm tying in now that Lord Sriman Narayan, all his professors are appointed and qualified by him. All Lord Sriman Narayan's spiritual professors and their universities are authenticated and qualified by Lord Sriman Narayan himself. Because he is saying, with the dust of my devotees' lotus feet, I desire to purify the material worlds which are situated within me. The philosophy of Vishishtadvaita is everything exists within God. So Lord Sriman Narayan here is clinching the argument that Vishishtadvaita is the absolute philosophy by stating that all the material worlds exist within him. This is what we are teaching you. This is what Vedanta is. Vedanta means that everything that exists within the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sriman Narayan. This is absolute Vedanta. And Lord Sriman Narayana clinches this himself. And he also clinches that he is absolutely devoted to the spiritual master. So much so that he follows the dust particles of his spiritual master's foot within the material universe. And this is why when you accept a guru, before accepting the guru, you have to be very, very careful. Because after you accept the guru, you have also accepted whom? Whom? Lord Narayan. And when you reject the guru, you also reject Lord Narayan. So be careful, because when you reject both Guru and Lord Narayan, what you think can be the consequences? Disaster. All of you understand? And this is a confirmation by whom? Lord Sriman Narayan himself. So this is part 2 of our series. Vishishtadvaita is absolute Vedanta. And in this series, every Sunday, we will discuss this and we will bring in evidence from the scriptures itself. And at this point, I'd like to state that I am, in my personal capacity, a mere dust particle situated at the lotus feet of the entire Sri Ramanuj Sampradaya. I am not originating any information that I am giving you. This information that I'm giving you has not originated from me. I am merely giving you the teachings of Lord Sri Ramanuj through the grace of my spiritual master, Swami Sudarshan Acharyaji Maharaj. All of you understand? So nothing is original, nothing is mine. I am a humble servant of my Guru and my Sampradaya. My Guru and my Sampradaya, I am giving you information through the grace of my Guru. Information that have been collated 1000 years ago by Lord Sri Ramanuj, the head of Sri Vaishnavism. The head of Vaishnavism itself. So we're running this series in this consciousness. All of you understand? In the same breath, this system and the way I am expounding Vedanta and Vishishtadvaita is not something new. It's not something new. Alternate philosophies have been there since time immemorial. Vedavyas himself, when he collated the Vedas, he had to refute. He himself refuted philosophies that were not absolute. And that was 5,000 years ago. Lord Sri Ramanuj, 1,000 years ago, refuted philosophies that are not absolute. And today, I myself, through the Sri Narayan Dham, will continue in this segment of discourses to refute philosophies that are not absolute. It is a tradition. It is a tradition. The Guru is not fighting with anyone. This is how Sanatana Dharma operates. This is what keeps Sanatana Dharma alive. And in lieu of this, if there is anyone confused, either here practically in my satsang today, or that's watching this discourse on live feed currently, or that's going to be watching this discourse whenever, I request them to submit their queries to me either on the commentary section of this discourse, or they can submit their queries to me on Messenger, and we will gladly answer any of the queries put forth. Jai Sriman Narayana.